A new poll just dropped, and it's bad news for Donald Trump. 60% of Americans now say he's failing the economy, the highest disapproval rating yet. A new national poll has just been released, and it shows something Donald Trump probably didn't want to see: 6 out of every 10. Americans now say they disapprove of how he's handling the economy. That's not just a bad number. It's the worst rating he's had so far on this issue, which has always been one of his strongest talking points. To understand why this matters, let's step back a bit. Since Trump's return to the political spotlight, he's often pointed to his past economic record, things like stock market highs, low unemployment, and business growth, as proof that he knows how to manage the country's finances. For many of his supporters, the economy was his biggest strength. It's a thing that made him stand out from other politicians. But now, the picture looks very different. This new survey, conducted by a respected research organization, shows that Americans are feeling uneasy. The disapproval number, 60%, is the highest since the start of his term, and it's a clear sign that people are losing confidence. What the poll says, according to the details released, only about 38% of respondents said they approve of Trump's economic handling, while the remaining 2% said they're unsure. When researchers looked closer at the data, they found that the biggest decline in approval came from independents and moderate voters, the very groups that often decide elections when asked about their main economic concerns. Most people pointed to rising prices, rent, healthcare costs, and job insecurity. Many said they feel like their paychecks aren't keeping up with expenses, and some even mentioned that they're cutting back on essentials. What people are saying, one of the most striking parts of the poll, is how personal the frustration feels. It's not just numbers on a chart, it's families trying to make ends meet. You can hear it in the way people talk about their struggles. Everything costs more. But my salary hasn't changed. Groceries, gas, utilities, it all adds up. For millions of Americans, the economy isn't an abstract topic. It's their daily reality, and that reality doesn't feel stable right now. A shift in perception. What makes this even more interesting is that Trump's approval on the economy used to be his strongest area. Even people who didn't like his personality or his approach often admitted that they trusted him more than other politicians when it came to money matters. So why the sudden shift? There are a few possible reasons. Economic fatigue. After years of inflation and market swings, people are simply tired. Even if some of these problems aren't directly caused by Trump, they still affect how people see leadership. Policy uncertainty. Some of Trump's recent statements on trade, taxes, and spending have left both voters and investors unsure about what comes next. Rising living costs, no matter who's in charge. When groceries and rent keep going up, people tend to blame whoever has the most visibility, and right now, that's Trump. Expert views. Economists are divided on what exactly is driving the drop. Some argue it's a natural reaction to economic pressure. When people struggle financially, their trust in leaders declines. Others say it's more political than practical, meaning people's feelings about Trump's personality or controversies are spilling into how they view the economy. Dr. Linda Harris, an economist from the University of Chicago, explained it this way: economic perception isn't always about the numbers. It's about how people feel in their daily lives. If their rent is up, groceries cost more, and their credit card balance is growing, they'll say the economy is bad, even if overall growth looks solid. That emotional side of economics is powerful, and it's what drives polls like this one. Political reaction, as expected. The political response has been loud. Trump's campaign team quickly dismissed the poll, saying it's skewed and doesn't reflect the real energy they're seeing from supporters. They pointed to rallies, fundraising, and social media engagement as proof that the base is still strong. Democratic leaders, on the other hand, jumped on the opportunity, saying these numbers prove that Americans are ready for change. Political analysts say both sides are partly right. Polls are snapshots, not final verdicts, but they do reveal trends. And right now, the trend shows frustration building across the board. The everyday economy. Let's talk for a second about what's happening in people's everyday lives, because that's really where this story lives. Many Americans are still dealing with high grocery bills, rent increases, and medical expenses. Even though official inflation rates have slowed a bit, prices haven't gone back down, they've just stopped rising as quickly. For a lot of people, that still feels like struggle. Add to that the rise in interest rates. Mortgages, car loans, and credit cards have all become more expensive. A family that could once afford a $300,000 home might now only qualify for $220,000. That creates stress. And stress turns into frustration. Frustration that often gets directed at whoever's in charge. The emotional side, this isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about trust. Economic confidence depends heavily on whether people believe things will get better. And right now, belief seems shaky. One independent voter quoted in the survey said, "I don't hate Trump, but I just don't feel secure anymore." It's like no one really has a plan. That feeling uncertainty is what's reflected in that 60% disapproval number.